WATP.
Chad was talking about talking to my brother in Atlantic City because they met for lunch. My sister-in-law and my brother met with Chad for lunch.
Talking. And Grant was a pretty nice guy, down to earth, doesn't want to get involved, not trying to throw him under the bus. But we had a nice conversation. We're talking, and, he kind of knows what's going on. He said to me, and I quote, "Listen, I'll never defend Carl. Whatever Carl's doing is he's on his own. Sometimes he crosses the line. I don't even want to deal with it." Carl.
My brother said, "I'll never defend Carl." That sounds like something my brother would say. I don't even like the fucking turd, to be honest with you. I just go to all the live shows and all right.
Carl does his own thing, but I'll never defend him. And he also said, "Yeah, you're a pretty funny guy. I don't understand why he's always coming at you."
Chad is always lying. It's unbelievable. My brother said to Chad, "You're a pretty funny guy. I don't know why Carl's always coming at you."
And have you lost weight?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And when was the last time we talked about Chad? Leading up to Atlantic City, we hadn't talked about Chad for many, many months.
Also after Atlantic City.
Right. So this whole thing where my brother's going, "Yeah, no, Chad, you're fine. We all like you. I don't know what my brother's problem is. I would never defend him. This is all bullshit."
And he also said this, that a lot of this was getting to Carl. This, especially stuff about his mom wife, that was bothering him.
Look at John. Look at John celebrating. Oh yeah, the mom wife is getting to him. Oh yeah, me and my mom wife can't get over it. It's so devastating to our family.
In closed doors, this shit was bothering him. The Carl impression was bothering him.
Good.
The Carl impression.
That's from your own brother, dog.
He never stops lying. This guy. By the way, I want to point this out because one of the things that I found out about Chad from my brother who met up with him in Atlantic City, and I felt bad. I didn't talk about Chad specifically because of this reason. Chad's a mess. And I don't know if it's alcoholism or other health issues or what's going on, but the guy's shaking at all times when he met with my brother and sister-in-law. And he can't even like hold on to a fork. He couldn't show something on his phone because he was shaking so bad. And I'm like, oh, well, this guy's not long for this world. He's not doing
Probably nervous meeting Grant and his sister.
Grant.
Dude, I think he does get
His
nervous.
nerves are just shot.
I think his nerves are shot.
does that?
I think his nerves are shot. And because he says this, it's a projection, but he says a lot to me when he's making fun of me. He's like, "Oh, Carl, were you nervous? Were you nervous, Carl?" Like, no, do I look nervous? Do I ever look nervous? What are you talking about, Chad? But I think he gets very nervous. But it also might be alcohol withdrawal, or maybe he was drinking. I mean, he tells the story in Atlantic City where they went on this crazy bender all night, and then he got on an airplane and flew back home. So maybe he was already wasted and was drinking vodka on the plane to get there. I don't know what the deal is, but I felt bad. My brother's like, "Carl, he's in," well, I shouldn't talk for my brother. I don't know, paraphrasing. He's not in good shape. It's not looking good. And Chad's a pathological loser. It's still the funniest thing that Kevin Brennan has ever said. Now, guess who else is watching Chad Zumock these days? Aaron Imholte. Now, if you remember, Aaron and Chad, not friends. Not a good history there. Aaron thought that him and Chad were going to have this cool, fun internet beef war thing. And then Chad immediately went to, "All right, I contacted your ex-wife and I'm promoting her book and I'm going to have her on the show. And here's what your kids look like. And this is your wife's kids. And blah, blah, blah." And I contacted April, and Aaron's like, "All right, I'm out of here. This fucking sucks. I don't want anything to do with this." And they stopped talking about Chad. Now, all of a sudden, they're teaming up or something. It seems like Aaron wants to be buddies with Chad Zumock because Chad goes after me.
I gave $10 to Chad Zumock today. I saw on Twitter that he was live, and I went, I gotta see this. He was shitting on Carl, and I'm like, I gotta watch him shit on Carl, because Carl kind of, I'm not angry at Carl. It's just, pro wrestling. Babyface heel turn phony bullshit.
Did nobody hear what I said? It's so bizarre to me that everyone's like, "Oh, now Carl's jumping on the bandwagon and he's going after Steel Toe." What I said was, this has to be a work. I was on Aaron's side. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well,
that like, no, you can't be going through a divorce. You wouldn't be handling it this poorly. It's got to be a work, and you're going to show. And I still believe it could happen on Monday morning. April shows up next to him, and they go, "Ha ha, we got you guys."
Right. If this isn't all fake, then you're pathetic.
Right.
And you're going to come on here and go, "Oh, it's not fake." Well,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what's so weird about it. Like when he came on and said, I was a narcissist, I treated April wrong, I got to work on that, that's on me. And then he came back a week later and goes, turns out I'm not a narcissist. I got laughed out of the therapy room when I suggested I might be. They're like, as if, get out of here, you whippersnapper, you're killing it. So it's like when John says he has a 100% healthy heart when he goes to the doctor and he's in perfect shape. It's like, these are lies.
Yeah.
You're making this up, obviously.
but I mean,
So let's give him the benefit of the doubt that this is all fucking work.
I don't know. Obviously, April got the house with the set in it in the divorce because what the fuck's going on behind him? It looks like shit.
Yeah, I don't
he's
know why he
admitting
changed
that he's a loser and it's not a work.
He was going to get a green screen. He was talking about it. That's another thing. Aaron, I'm sorry. I'm watching your show through various shows, and I see these things that you're doing. It's weird. He's talking about he's going to get a green screen. He's ordering a green screen. He's going to get lights. He's going to have this different setup. And then he does this. And he's like, this is actually better than the green screen. It's terrible. It looks like this isn't your profession. There's nothing professional about this at all. All right. So Aaron,
He
talks
called
about
me. And yeah.
He's talking about a conversation that Aaron and I had on the phone. I want to address this.
Yeah, it was, you do a good show. I think that's why he hates you so much. Melton, and I'm so fucking paraphrasing. I don't get what this Melton guy's obsession with you guys is. And then fast forward not even a year later, and I guess we got to sell tickets to Hackamania. So now my divorce is a work.
So I literally disagreed with Melton. I called him on a show and I said, I think you're wrong about this. And then I did a show where I explained why I thought Melton was wrong about this. He's trying to say I'm buddying up with Melton versus him. Not the case at all. But let me explain what that conversation was. And I talked to Melton about this on this show. So everyone's got this revisionist history right now. Patrick Melton was telling people to reach out to the Attorney General of Minnesota to get them in trouble for running an illegal lottery. Because he was doing these things like if you donate to the whatever, their PayPal, or if you give them donations, then you're in a running to win a prize. And it's like, that's illegal. You can't, that's how sweepstakes work. You can't do that. But Patrick Melton, I mean, I know that, but Patrick Melton was telling people to get them in trouble, go after, and I go, Patrick, we're just doing internet shows. It's a roast. Why are you telling people to, you don't want to strike channels. You don't want to reach out to attorney generals or call the police, get people swatted. Like all of this stuff is stupid. It's not adding to entertainment in any way. It's dumb. So that was the conversation I had with Aaron. I'm like, I don't know why these people want to take things to attorney generals. Like, it's just, that was the crazy part to me. I didn't say like, dude, you do an amazing show. Everyone's jealous of you. I guarantee you I didn't do that.
What a queer. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't have any personal animosity towards the guy, but like an emergency, no offense, an emergency episode is gay to begin with. But an emergency episode to go, but I think that guy's divorce is not real. Yeah. You know what? I just love putting myself through this on a regular basis.
You're getting a ton of eyeballs. You showed up on your show with some crazy growth coming out of his bottom lip on Friday. He did this show.
What's going on with these people?
All of these people, I think the stress is getting to them. They're not having fun, obviously.
And like the reason to announce it was very simple. People were throwing rumors out there. They were saying all kinds of shit. So I said, you know what? Let's just tell my.
Yeah. So the point is like Aaron's getting all these eyeballs on him right now. All these people are watching. I think he's hitting his goals and everything like that. So it's not as if it's crazy for me to think that this is a work that he's trying to draw all this attention to himself and then eventually turn it around on all the haters and be like, see, in fact, if he was better at this than he is, that would have been what he did.
My original opinion was nobody's fucking business. And then finally I was like, they are saying some wild shit. And I don't want people saying wild shit, so I'll throw them what it is. And then I did.
So this is the funny part too. He goes, so I was lying to everyone. And then I realized I was going to get caught in my lie. So I told the truth. And Carl's an asshole for thinking that I'm lying about this. Well, you just said that you were lying about, because he was telling all these stories about him and April are doing great. She still listens to the show. She still loves the show. They're together. And then it turned out to all be a lie. If this really is what the truth now, who knows? So it's not that crazy for me to think that this could be a work. All right. This is him complimenting Chad Zumock.
Something. So I see the Mud Shark today And the Mud Shark is on there like, Aaron, I fucking told you about Carl, and fucking, like, Chad was going on a rant, and he was nailing it. Like, Chad was actually doing a good rant, and he was right about a lot of the stuff he was saying. So I was like, you know what? I'm throwing a Mud Shark $10. And I said, here you go, arch enemy. You know, here's this, here's that. And he was being very nice to everybody. You know, he was, calling the rumors that are horseshit, and I appreciated that. We don't like each other, but I thought it was really cool of him. I thought it was really not cool of him. I thought it was really honest of him. It was a straight up, he and I are both radio guys, and I think there is that element in radio guys that's not in podcast guys where you're like,
Chad Zumock is not a radio guy. I know he had a job over 10 years ago in an afternoon third mic. He's not a radio guy. And the fact that Aaron's sitting there and going like, Chad gets it. Chad's making a lot of good points. I texted Aaron and I was just like, Chad gets it? Okay, now this is definitely a work. This has to be a work. And guess what? Aaron did not text me back. So I guess.
What is Aaron's radio history? I don't really know much about him.
He was in the 200th largest radio market with a morning show that he was in charge of selling the advertising for. So he was the host and the salesperson for a radio show. And he used to be like a shock jock kind of guy.
All right.
Yeah.
What area?
He's in Minnesota. I forget the town.
Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah, I forget what town it is, but
cool.
Pretty cool.
Cool guy.
Pretty cool right there. Anyway, that's enough about that.
Who are these podcasts?